Hey YouTube, let's talk dice trays for a little bit. They're obviously very important. You can't be rolling on the board and knocking your pieces over. You got to keep them contained, and it's probably really, besides the game itself, the most important part of your game. You know, you need to be able to have someplace good to roll your dice. So I figured, you've seen these in my video, this in my video before, but I figured I'd go over my personal customized dice tray that I made myself. So, right here is a standard dice tray that I have that I got online someplace, and it's okay, it's good. Overall, pretty quiet. And then this one, it's a little taller, and I do like this one a lot. I like the aesthetic of it, but it is very loud. It does have a little bit of a gap on the bottom, so that kind of helps with the giving the dice more of a bounce, I think. But it's very loud, and so if you're playing and you have other people over, I mean, it's kind of annoying to hear, etc. Right? It's pretty dang loud. I still like it a lot though, but that was something that, as a sound person, that always bothered me. And then you could also go the cheap route, and you just use a board game box lid. You know, kind of tacky, but does the job. But as you notice, you throw the dice in there, because it's not meant as a dice tray. You throw the dice in there and just pay attention to how the dice roll, right? Pay attention to how the dice roll. They kind of hit the surface and then slide. So it doesn't really give you an accurate actual roll. The dice aren't bouncing. Like more often than not, like sometimes you get some, but I mean, there's quite a bit that when I throw them, it hits and it just slides, you know, and it doesn't actually roll or whatever. The momentum is stopped short, kind of, right? So one day I was at a Target. I think it was last year. I was at a Target, and I came across this serving dish, and I immediately thought it was in the holiday section and like the fall seasonal items, right? And I immediately saw this thing, and I thought jumbo dice tray. And a friend of mine showed me that he did this with his dice tray, and it was just a regular size one. And I decided to do this on a grand scale. So I took the serving tray. It actually said Happy Fall here, and it had like leaves and stuff, and it actually has like 2 handles on either side. And I took it, and then I immediately went to a Joann fabric store and got some green felt, and then went to a Michael's and got some green foam. You can kind of see it on the spacer here, like on the side here. And then I cut it by eye. I didn't do... Some areas are better than others, obviously, like that's the good side, and then over here it's a little more prevalent to see a little bit, but I mean, it does the job, you know. It looks the part, it does the job. Anyway, so I put the foam down, and then I put the felt down, and what that does, that foam helps give it a bounce as well as quiet it a little bit. So watch. All right, a little comparison. Now I've shown this on a few other videos of mine, on some YouTube War videos, but I didn't do a video talking strictly about this, so I figured, you know what, might as well do it. So again, watch. So there's the foam, and the felt, and then how the dice behave, and it bounces the dice just a little bit and helps continue the momentum that the dice have, so you get a better roll, a little more accurate roll. I like the dice rolling around. I also like dice having smooth corners to help encourage that. I know some people have hit dice where the corners are very harsh and stuff, and I don't like that as much. But that's just personal preference. You don't have to do this. This is just what I like to do. This is how I like my dice to roll, and so on and so forth. So I like this a lot. It cost me maybe $30 in terms of going and getting the supplies, and then the $20 for the tray or so, and I had a lot of glue already or whatever. But anyway, I really like this a lot. I brought it to the tournament. The downside is that it's too big for a lot of people's custom tables and stuff, so I have to have it like elsewhere. So I brought it to the tournament, and I still had to have it on my folding cart, even though it doesn't quite fit on top of that, right? But there wasn't enough surface for a standard BBR table to put this on the side because it was so big. But when you have a ton of dice to roll, this is awesome. I like this a lot. And if if you're a really harsh roller, obviously dice can bounce out more easily, but the walls are a little taller. Here, let's do a little comparison. Walls are quite a bit taller, so that helps compensate for the most part. And I don't know, it's really nice, and it's not loud. If that doesn't bother you, then it doesn't bother you, but it bothers me. So anyway, so that is my dice tray. And then while I'm talking about this kind of customization stuff, I figured I'd also mention my Boneyard Dish. Just kind of focus on this for just a tiny bit. So I got this idea from a fellow gamer I met way back. Had kind of fell out of touch with him, but anyway, this was originally a Halloween candy dish, and all I did was add some felt chair pads at the bottom so that it wouldn't scratch the surface. And I also did that with this dice tray as well. Oh, and last but not least, I'm so sorry, I forgot. Backing up to this a bit. The bottom of this dice tray, I added felt as well, and this is the same felt that Joe, when he made me this awesome battle board for that I won at the first St. Louis tournament, he put this awesome felt on the bottom of it, and so I asked him what that was. He sent me the link, and I got more of that, and so it's the same surface on this battle board box that's on this dice tray, and I've also put this on a couple other things as well. So anyway, backing up to this little thing real quick. So basically, what this is, and some people joke about it. But it's actually very helpful, and it's so simple that it's awesome. And then the skulls are a nice touch, and I can't find this anywhere online anymore. They don't, again, it's a seasonal thing. They don't make that kind of stuff forever, so I can't find this anymore. But you can definitely find a million different kind of skull boneyard dishes. And so the general idea is, if you're not sure exactly what it is, when you're playing, it helps speed stuff up actually quite significantly, especially if it's constant. And so you throw your casualties from your battles in there. Granted, it's a little loud, but it's kind of satisfying, right? So you throw your casualties, throw your chips in there, and then when you're moving around you can move it around, fit it almost anywhere that there's a space available because it's small enough. And then, oh man, I need to break this 5 chip. Oh, rather than reaching all the way over there where the chips are, you can just right there, bam, and swap things out as you see fit. You want to move a chip in non-combat? Okay, swap the chip out for a guy and move it here, and it's right here. You don't have to go digging through your box. You don't have to go reach through the box and get the piece out again. It's all right here, and it actually saves a considerable amount of time for YouTube wars or in-person game or whatever. So anyway, I figured I would talk about my Boneyard Dish a lot. Some people call it the Death Bowl. Some people call it the Casualty Bin, or whatever. People have different names for it, but I like to call it the Boneyard Dish because I work a lot of events sometimes, and usually they refer to an area where they store extra stuff that they may need later, or whatever excess stuff. They refer to it as the Boneyard. So I like that. That's my terminology for it. And then also, if someone's doing their non-combat moves, then one other player can take the Boneyard Dish and start putting the dead pieces. If someone's not trying to strategize, somebody else can take the pieces and disperse them back to where they need to be at some point if they want to. So anyway, that's figured I would talk about Boneyard dishes and dice trays and all of that. So make yourself a dice tray and roll the dice better. That could have been a better roll, but you get the point.